I want to show you how I install wax sheets on a wedge top, groove bottom, shallow frame. So these are brand new frames. These came from Mann Lake, already assembled. But you got to get this wedge out of here, and they pre-cut it, but they don't cut all the way through. So I got this chisel here. There's a couple ways of doing it. You can take a knife and push down and cut it the rest of the way. And I've also just tried the chisel here, and you just push it down in. Although you got to be careful because it's more of a chance of it breaking, but I haven't broken one yet. So now you have the wedge out. And I have 4 3/4 by 16 3/4 comb, beeswax comb foundation. And this is from Mann Lake. And I think they also call it thin surplus. Part number is FN, that's Frank Nancy, 164. And I put it in the fridge to get it a little bit firmer. And then the first step, you want to drop it down in the bottom groove. This has been sitting out of the refrigerator for a while, so it's not as solid as it was. And then you just push gently on the top part. And then we want to start our nails. These are tiny little nails. I think they're 18 gauge. And I don't know if they're 3/8 or 1/2 inch. Looked like about 1/2 inch long. It's just something I already had. You want to go ahead and start the nails. About 1 inch from the end. I just used 2 nails total, 1 on each end. We got the frame upside down. I like the uncut side or the smooth cut. I push that up against the wax. And you want to squeeze it tight. Come to this side and you want to squeeze it tight because you want to hold that foundation in. I tried on some frames that were groove top, groove bottom, and they held in place. I put them in the hive and checked it the next day, and with the heat from the bees and from the sun, it bowed this out. And you can see here how bent up they are. They wouldn't hold in place. So that's why you use a wedge top bar to hold the foundation in place. I'm going to try it without running wires because I want to do cut comb, and I just want to try this. And if for some reason this don't hold, well, then I'm going to have to run the stainless steel wire to firm up the foundation. But this seems like it's going to work. Now, one thing I did do was I do beekeeping on a budget where I can, but some places you don't want to be cheap on. But these frames cost about $1.50 a piece if you buy 100 of them, and you got to put them together. They're unassembled. But I found a sale on Mann Lake. This goes back to Black Friday deals. I bought 100 pack unassembled shallow frames, but they're groove top, groove bottom, and they were only about $70. So that's only about 70 cents a piece. And what I did was I made my own wedge top by running this through the table saw. And basically just adjusted the table saw and carefully pushed down and ran it through. And then I had to cut this side, and I used an oscillating tool with a wood bit and cut this side and a little bit this way, and to cut out my wedge. And that seems to be working. So that's one way I was able to save money. And let me know in the comments if you have how you do your waxed foundation for cut comb.